Greetings, fellow hunters. Well, like a Supernatural Season 6 now continues on with Unforgiven. 1 year ago in Bristol, Rhode Island, Sam and Samuel worked a case and left the town one night only to be pulled over by a cop. He asked the two a few questions before noticing Sam's shirt has blood on it. He insists they come with him or he will arrest them. Sam, however, doesn't listen and actually finds some amusement out of threatening him to arrest two federal agents. When the cop becomes more aggressive, Sam beats him to a bloody pulp, while Samuel just stands aside and watches. The two leave the cop on the road unconscious. In the present, Dean walks in a motel room to see Sam trying to catch up on the year he was gone. He then gets a mysterious text from an unknown number, giving coordinates to a small town. Sam tracks the number to Bristol, Rhode Island. He also finds out that three women disappeared there last week, vanishing out of thin air. Sam suggests that they check out what's going on over there, and Dean reluctantly agrees. Upon arriving in Bristol, Sam already begins to have flashbacks of his time there a year ago. He recognizes the sign of Bristol when they're driving in, and he meets up with a woman and her husband who happen to know him in a bar. When Sam starts to have suspicions of the place, the woman leaves, giving him a flirty look, and he has a flashback of sleeping with the woman. Dean confirms them with a photograph he finds with Sam in the background. Dean plans on leaving the town as soon as possible. Sam insists on staying to figure out what happened and what's going on now. He takes responsibility for the missing people in the town and wants to finish what he started. Dean agrees to continue, following up with affiliates of the missing women for any clues to what might be going on. He finds out from one that she had some loud and athletic interactions with Sam a year ago. Meanwhile, Sam arrives at the police station only to be abruptly arrested by the same cop he knocked out a year ago. Sam tries to convince the cop that he doesn't remember anything, but the cop doesn't believe him and locks him up in jail. Sometime later, another sheriff named Brianna Dobbs walks in, apparently knowing his true identity as Sam, and questions him what happened to her husband Roy. Sam doesn't remember her at first, but has another flashback of Samuel himself talking with the two about hunting. He tells her he doesn't know what happened, but he'll find answers because that's his job. After so convincing, she lets him out of his cell. Dean returns home to Sam, now a fugitive, and tells him that he actually got around being soulless, and that he knew one of the missing girls. Suddenly, on a police scanner, the two hear of another disappearance. Dean orders Sam to stay put while he checks out the scene. As Dean walks out the door, Sam makes his way to Brianna's house. Dean calls Sam and leaves a voice message that he's found a connection to all the missing women. They all had sex with Sam when he was there, and that this was a trap for him. Meanwhile, Sam asks Brianna for the files on the missing men from a year ago. He has a few flashbacks, including him and Samuel talking with Rory and Brianna about family and being on the road. Samuel expresses a sentimental sense of joy and blessing when reminiscing about Mary. Sam looks at his relationship with Samuel as nothing more than a business relationship, and that family slows you down. Another flashback confirms that the cause of the disappearances of the men from a creature called a hurricane, or arcane, or however it's pronounced, I don't know. He runs the evidence to put the pieces all together and runs into Dean, who's just once again to leave this for another hunter. Sam is so persistent on finishing what he started. As the pieces come together, Sam gets a full flashback that fills in the blanks on what happened. The deductions that the arcane made were all of men fitting a certain profile, and used Roy as light bait to track down the arcane. Upon the arcane's lair, Sam and Samuel face off with the creature and Sam decapitates it. Sam suggests calling for an ambulance for Roy and the others, but Sam suggests it can't be helped. He believes that all the men are poisoned, that they're dead men walking. It's just to put them out of their misery by killing them. He shoots all the innocent men and tells Samuel to get the gasoline to burn the house down. Upon this realization, Sam calls Brianna to check if she's okay. She asks her to stop by, and Sam insists that she's in trouble. The burglars arrive, and upon entering the shed, they find Brianna. She asks Sam if it was true that he killed Roy. Before he can answer, Dean's detected Sam is pinned to the wall by Roy, now an arcane. Sam and Dean are up to cobwebs, asks for him to let Brianna go. Roy, suddenly angry, tells Sam he got a lot of his Tell Sam he got a lot of his assumptions wrong. Explained that the arcane wasn't there to feed, or rather to breed. She bade him and all the others to turn them into arcane. By the time Sam shot him, he was already turned. And he was resistant to both bullets and fire. After the fire, all the arcane ran. Ever since then, Roy kept himself hidden for months, waiting for Sam to return to exact revenge on him. He tells Sam that all the missing women are now arcane as well. However, he questions whether to kill Sam or turn him. In this moment of hesitation, Dean breaks out of his cobweb to attack as Brianna cuts cobwebs off of Sam. Sam then strikes and decapitates Roy. He tries to apologize to Brianna, but she shuts the door on him. Sam and Dean pack up to leave, but Dean wondering if Sam's okay. Sam, not feeling guilty, agrees that they shouldn't have come back to Bristol. As Sam wonders about what else he could have done, he collapses on the floor. Dean rushes to Sam, who gets a flashback of himself burning in Lucifer's cage. He is seen covered and surrounded with flames in the cage. He screams as the flames burn his face. Oh boy. That's not good. So anyway, let's take a look at some trivia from this episode. The ending scene with Sam's flashback of being Lucifer's cage is reminiscent of the ending scene in No Rest for the Wicked when Dean is seen in hell. Sam must comment that Roy is dressed in the red shirt to Sam as rare of his stock characters from the original Star Trek TV show, who are named after the red Starfleet Security Division uniforms they frequently wear. These characters exist for the sole purpose of getting killed off, thus highlighting the peril of the main cast members in each episode. Dean's laying that his spidey senses are tingling as a reference to one of the many powers of the popular Marvel superhero Spider-Man. When Sheriff Brandon Dobbs visits Sam in jail, she asks, "What is this, Days of Our Lives?" in response to his claim that he doesn't remember his previous visit to the town. This references soap opera Jensen starred in as Eric, a character who believed his sister was faking her amnesia. Days of Our Lives is later mentioned in The French Mistake. Arcane are shown to have two pupils in each eye. The shots from Roy's point of view show a total of 7 images. Solo Sam's alias while originally investigating the arcane with Samuel was Agent H. Rourke, likely refers to Howard Rourke, the main protagonist of Ayn Rand's novel The Fountainhead. Ayn Rand was a proponent of ethical egoism, believing that humans should always act in their own best interests above all else. Rourke himself was portrayed as a cold, egomaniacal perfectionist, not unlike Sam without his soul, but due to Rand's beliefs, Rourke's inhumane behavior was lauded as heroic within the text. The use of this alias may lead the viewer to a greater understanding of how soulless Sam viewed himself. It could also just be a joke. And then finally, let's take a look at an error. The headline of the news article, Sam finds out about the disappearance of 3 women in Bristol, is grammatically incorrect. It should be 3 women vanish into thin air. So I think this episode is kind of interesting, and yeah, I really don't like the fact that I think the wall's coming down in Sam's mind, so that's definitely not a good thing, so yeah. So overall, I give Unforgiven 4 Impalas out of 5. When I tune in this week to the next episode, Mannequin 3, The Reckoning. So, until then, carry on, my wayward sons and daughters.